I have spent my entire life studying the cosmos, peering into the fabric of space-time, theorizing about parallel universes, contemplating the birth and death of stars, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for what we discovered when 3IATLAS began to open. Before we begin, I need you to do something for me. Comment your city name below and tell me, have you noticed anything unusual in the night sky recently? Lights that move in ways they shouldn't? A feeling that something is watching? NASA is quietly tracking anomalies across the globe, and your observation might be the missing piece. Do it now. What I'm about to share may change the way you see humanity's place in the universe. For months, 3IATLAS was just another interstellar object, a rogue comet from beyond our solar system, drifting through the cosmic void like a message in a bottle thrown into an infinite ocean. We cataloged it. We measured its trajectory. We calculated its speed, its composition, its origin. It was fascinating, yes, but not alarming. Not yet. Then, 3 weeks ago, something changed. The object began to slow down. Now, you have to understand, objects in space don't just slow down. There's no friction in the vacuum, no air resistance. When something is moving at 30 kilometers per second through interstellar space, it continues moving at that speed unless acted upon by another force. Newton's first law, elementary physics. And yet 3IATLAS was decelerating in a way that violated every model we had. At first, we thought it was an error, a glitch in the telemetry. But when observatories in Chile, Hawaii, and the European Southern Observatory all confirmed the same data, we knew we were looking at something unprecedented. Then the structure appeared. I was in my office at the City College of New York when the call came through. It was Dr. Sarah Chen from NASA's Near-Earth Object Program. Her voice was shaking, and Sarah doesn't shake. She's tracked asteroids for 20 years. She's seen everything. But when she told me what the James Webb Space Telescope had just imaged, I felt my blood run cold. Michio, she said, it's not a comet. It never was. The images came through on my screen. At first, I couldn't process what I was seeing. The elongated shape we'd been tracking for months had split open, not fractured, not broken apart by gravitational stress, but opened, like petals unfurling, like an eye opening after eons of sleep. Inside was a ring structure. It was a perfectly geometric, impossibly symmetrical, rotating at a speed that should have torn it apart from centrifugal force alone, yet it remained intact. The ring was composed of something that reflected light in wavelengths we'd never encountered, not naturally occurring in any stellar phenomenon we've cataloged. The spectroscopy came back with elements and combinations that shouldn't exist in nature. This wasn't geology. This wasn't cosmology. This was engineering. I sat there in the darkness of my office staring at those images, and I realized that in that single moment, everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe had just been shattered. For decades, I've appeared on television, written books, given lectures about the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence. I've speculated, I've theorized, I've hoped, but I never truly believed I would see it in my lifetime. The immediate response was predictable. The military wanted the data classified. World governments began emergency sessions behind closed doors. The scientific community was divided between those demanding full disclosure and those terrified of causing global panic. But you can't keep something like this quiet forever. Not when amateur astronomers around the world can point their telescopes at the same coordinates and see it for themselves. So here I am, speaking to you now, because the truth has a way of emerging whether we're ready for it or not. The ring structure inside 3IATLAS is approximately 800 meters in diameter. It rotates once every 11 seconds, and embedded within its surface are patterns, not random patterns, but sequences, mathematical sequences, prime numbers, the Fibonacci sequence, constants that appear in fundamental physics. It's as if something wanted to ensure that any civilization advanced enough to observe it would recognize it as artificial. But here's what keeps me awake at night. The ring isn't just rotating, it's transmitting. We detected it 4 days after the structure opened. A low-frequency signal pulsing at regular intervals beamed outward in all directions. Not random noise, not natural radio emissions from cosmic phenomena. This was structured, encoded, a message. The teams at SETI have been working around the clock to decode it. I've been in the room with them, watching as pattern after pattern emerges from the static, and what we've found is both magnificent and terrifying. The signal contains mathematical proofs, theorems that took our greatest minds centuries to discover, transmitted in seconds, blueprints for technologies we haven't even dreamed of yet, schematics for energy systems that operate on principles beyond our current understanding of physics. It's like finding the Library of Alexandria, but instead of human knowledge, it contains the accumulated wisdom of a civilization millions of years more advanced than us. But embedded within all of this knowledge is something else, something that makes even the most optimistic scientists in the room fall silent, a warning. The decoded sections we've managed to translate so far suggest that 3IATLAS is not alone. It's one of many. Thousands, perhaps millions of these objects drift through the galaxy, silent sentinels, watching, waiting, observing civilizations as they evolve. And the opening of the inner ring structure, that's not random, it's deliberate, it's activated by something. The data suggests that these objects remain dormant until they detect specific signatures, technological signatures, radio transmissions, nuclear detonations, artificial satellites, the electromagnetic fingerprint of a civilization reaching a certain threshold of development. We triggered it. Humanity's expansion into space, our satellites orbiting Earth, our radio signals bleeding into the cosmos for the past century, all of it has been observed, cataloged, analyzed. And when we reached a critical point when our technology became sophisticated enough, the signal was sent. 3IATLAS opened because of us. It's opened. Now you might be thinking, this is first contact. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Proof that we're not alone. An invitation to join a galactic community of advanced civilizations. But I don't think that's what this is. I think this is an examination. Think about it from their perspective. Whoever or whatever created these objects. They're out there somewhere, watching countless worlds evolve, observing which civilizations survive their own technological adolescence and which ones destroy themselves. We're at that precipice right now. Climate change, nuclear weapons, artificial intelligence advancing faster than our wisdom to control it. We're a species that has just barely learned to leave our own planet, yet we're already capable of rendering it uninhabitable. The signal from 3IATLAS contains repeated sequences that our linguists and mathematicians have identified as conditional statements, if-then structures. If you can decode this, then you have reached stage 1. If you can build this, then you may proceed to stage 2. It's a test, and here's the part that truly unsettles me. Embedded in the deeper layers of the transmission, there are coordinates, not coordinates in our solar system. Not even coordinates in our galaxy. These are extragalactic coordinates, locations in the cosmic web, in the vast spaces between galactic superclusters, places where something is waiting. I've spent sleepless nights thinking about what this means. Are we being invited somewhere? Are we being warned away? Is this a map to something wonderful or something we should avoid at all costs? The signal also contains historical data. Observations of Earth spanning thousands of years. They've been watching us. They saw the rise and fall of civilizations. They observed our wars, our art, our science, our struggles, and they did nothing. They just watched. This suggests a principle that many in the scientific community are now calling the galactic quarantine hypothesis. The idea is simple but profound. Advanced civilizations don't interfere with younger ones. They observe, they catalog, they wait, they let civilizations either evolve to a point where they're ready for contact or they let them destroy themselves. It's a cosmic non-interference policy, and we've just been flagged as a civilization that's reached the threshold where our future hangs in the balance. The opening of 3IATLAS is like a door opening in a dark room. We can sense there's something on the other side, but we don't yet know if it's a hand reaching out to help us up or a predator waiting to see if we're worthy prey. In my lectures, I've often talked about the Kardashev scale, the measure of a civilization's technological advancement based on energy consumption. A Type 1 civilization harnesses all the energy of its planet. Type 2 harnesses the energy of its star. Type 3 harnesses the energy of its entire galaxy. We're not even a Type 1 yet. We're a Type 0.7 civilization, still burning fossil fuels, still fighting wars over resources that are abundant in space. Whoever built 3IATLAS and the thousands like it scattered across the cosmos, they're Type 3 minimum, maybe Type 4, operating on scales we can't even conceptualize, manipulating the fabric of space-time itself, and they're watching us now with an intensity they've never shown before. Since the ring structure opened, we've detected increased activity in other interstellar objects that previously seemed inert. Objects in other star systems hundreds of light years away are also beginning to transmit signals. It's as if 3IATLAS opening sent a ripple across the galaxy, a notification that Earth has reached critical threshold. The question that haunts me is, what happens next? Some of my colleagues believe this is humanity's graduation moment, that we're being welcomed into a cosmic community, that all of this knowledge being transmitted is meant to elevate us, to help us solve the existential crises we face. They look at those schematics for clean energy technology and see salvation. They see an end to scarcity, to conflict, to the limitations that have bound us to this single pale blue dot. Others aren't so optimistic. They point to the conditional nature of the transmissions. They note that some sections of the signal appear to be unlocked codes, technologies that require prerequisite understanding before they can be accessed. It's as if the message is saying, prove you're ready before we show you more. And if we're not ready, if we fail this cosmic examination, the signal contains references to other civilizations, brief, encrypted mentions of worlds that were once observed by these sentinels, worlds that are no longer transmitting, worlds that went silent. Is that our future? A cautionary tale encoded in a signal for the next civilization to find? I think about my grandchildren. I think about what kind of world they're going to inherit. And I wonder if this moment, this opening of 3IATLAS, is the pivot point. The moment where humanity's story either becomes a tragedy or transforms into something greater than we've ever imagined. The ring structure continues to rotate, the transmissions continue to pulse outward, and every day we decode a little more. Every day we understand a little better what we're dealing with. But understanding isn't the same as wisdom. We've built artificial intelligence systems that are beginning to approach human-level cognition. We're editing the genetic code of life itself. We're developing quantum computers that operate on principles that blur the line between physics and information theory. We're advancing rapidly, exponentially, but are we advancing in the right direction? The signal from 3IATLAS contains what appears to be philosophical frameworks, ways of thinking about consciousness, about intelligence, about the nature of existence itself. These aren't just technological blueprints. They're invitations to evolve not just our tools, but our minds. And that might be the real test. Can we handle the knowledge we're being given? Can we integrate it without destroying ourselves? Can humanity, a species that still harbors tribalism and nationalism and all the petty conflicts of a fractured world, suddenly think and act as a unified planetary civilization? Because that's what this moment demands. The governments of the world are already fighting over who gets access to the decoded information. Nations are forming alliances and drawing new lines in the sand over technology that doesn't even fully exist yet. We're presented with a gift or a test from the cosmos, and we're responding with the same old patterns of competition and control. This is exactly the kind of behavior that might doom us. I've been approached by military advisors asking me to help weaponize the technology embedded in the signal. I've refused. I've been contacted by corporate interests wanting to patent and profit from knowledge that belongs to all humanity. I've refused them too. Because I believe that this moment, This opening of 3IATLAS, is bigger than any one nation, any one ideology, any one economic system. This is a species-level event, and we will either respond as a species or we will fail as one. The ring continues its rotation, impossibly perfect, impossibly ancient. Sometimes I look at the images and I try to imagine the minds that designed it, beings who think on timescales we can't comprehend, who operate with technologies that appear to us as magic, who have watched 1,000 worlds like ours rise and fall. What do they think of us? Are they hoping we succeed? Are they indifferent? Or are they simply cataloging us, adding our radio signals and space probes to a vast database of civilizations that once were? I don't have the answers. None of us do, not yet. But I know this. We're living through the most important moment in human history, the moment when we discovered we're not alone, the moment when the universe reached back and touched us, the moment when everything we thought we knew about our place in the cosmos fundamentally changed. And the scariest part? This is just the beginning. The ring structure inside 3IATLAS continues to evolve. New patterns emerge in the signal daily. We're only scratching the surface of what's being transmitted. There are layers upon layers of encrypted data that will take decades, maybe centuries, to fully decode. But time might be something we don't have in abundance. Buried in the portions we've translated is a timeline, a countdown of sorts, measurements that correspond to orbital mechanics, planetary alignments, stellar cycles. The best interpretation our team has developed suggests that 3IATLAS isn't just a message beacon. It's a gateway, and it's opening wider. The ring structure that appeared 3 weeks ago was just the first layer. There are indications of additional structures nested inside, geometric patterns within patterns, technologies layered like a cosmic matryoshka doll. Each layer reveals itself only when the previous one has been observed, measured, understood. It's reacting to our observation. It's responsive. This implies a level of sophistication that challenges our understanding of artificial intelligence, of consciousness itself. 3IATLAS isn't just a probe or a message. It's an adaptive system, one that's been waiting for potentially millions of years for someone to find it, someone to look at it with curious eyes and questioning minds. And now that we have it's waking up, its observatories around the world are reporting that the object is now visible to the naked eye under dark skies. Amateur astronomers are flooding social media with images and videos. People are seeing it, wondering what it is, creating theories that range from rational to fantastical. The truth, as always, is stranger than fiction. I've been contacted by religious leaders from multiple faiths, all asking the same question. What does this mean for humanity's spiritual understanding? Is this angels, demons, gods? My answer is always the same. This is physics. This is engineering. This is intelligence. But intelligence so advanced that it might as well be divine by our standards. Arthur C. Clarke once wrote that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I would add that any sufficiently advanced intelligence might be indistinguishable from what we've historically called God. But these aren't gods. They're explorers, builders, observers, beings who evolved in the universe just as we did, but who had a billion-year head start. And they're trying to communicate something to us. The question is, are we listening with open minds or fearful hearts? I think about the course of human history, about how we've responded to the unknown throughout our time on this planet, sometimes with curiosity and wonder, more often with fear and violence. When cultures more advanced technologically encountered those less advanced, the results were usually tragic for the latter. Are we the less advanced culture now? And if so, what are the consequences of that? The signal contains data on exoplanets, thousands of worlds orbiting distant stars, but not just astronomical data, biological data, chemical signatures of atmospheres, indications of life. They're showing us that the universe is teeming with it. Microbial life on countless worlds, complex ecosystems on hundreds of planets, and here's the revelation that shook me to my core. Technological civilizations on dozens of worlds, all at various stages of development. We're not alone, we've never been alone, and whatever created 3IATLAS has been watching all of us. This isn't first contact with one alien species. This is contact with a monitoring system that oversees an entire galaxy's worth of emerging civilizations. We're part of something so much larger than ourselves, a cosmic ecosystem of intelligence and consciousness that spans the stars. The implications are staggering. Every philosophical question we've ever asked about the meaning of existence, about our purpose, about whether we matter in the vast cosmos, all of it has to be reconsidered in light of this new reality. We're not the center of creation. We're not even particularly special. We're one of many, many worlds where the universe has awakened to contemplate itself. But we might be at a unique juncture, a crossroads. The decoded sections of the signal that discuss other civilizations contain a disturbing pattern. Many worlds that developed technology similar to ours reached a point where the signals stopped, where the observations showed dramatic changes, atmospheric composition shifting, electromagnetic signatures fading, planetary surfaces transforming. They destroyed themselves. Not all of them. Some survived, some made it through whatever crisis point their technological adolescence presented, and the signal suggests that those who survived went on to join something, a network, a community, a federation of worlds that have transcended their limitations and begun working together on cosmic scales. 3IATLAS is offering us a choice. Join them or join the silent worlds. I lie awake at night thinking about this, about the responsibility that comes with this knowledge, about whether I should have remained silent, whether the world was better off not knowing. But that's not how science works. That's not how truth works. The universe has revealed something to us, and we have an obligation to look at it honestly, to grapple with it, to let it change us. Because the alternative, pretending we didn't see it, going back to business as usual, ignoring this cosmic invitation or warning, that would be its own form of suicide. The ring inside 3IATLAS continues to expand. The latest images show structures emerging from the surface, delicate, crystalline formations that seem to defy the laws of structural engineering. They're beautiful and terrifying in equal measure. And the signal is getting stronger. Whatever message is being transmitted, we're receiving it more clearly now. The mathematical proofs are giving way to something else. Images. Not visual images exactly, but information that our brains interpret as visual. Scenes from other worlds, civilizations rising and falling, stars being born and dying, the entire history of the cosmos compressed into transmissions that last microseconds but contain lifetimes of information. We're being shown what's possible, we're being shown what we could become, but we're also being shown the cost of failure. In my career, I've always been an optimist about humanity's future. I've believed in our potential, in our resilience, in our capability to overcome obstacles and reach for the stars. But this moment has tested that optimism in ways I never anticipated, because I'm seeing in real time how humanity responds to the unknown. And it's not always inspiring. There are those who want to destroy 3IATLAS, military strategists who view it as a threat, who want to send nuclear weapons to obliterate it before it gets any closer. There are religious fundamentalists who see it as demonic, as a challenge to their cosmic worldview. There are economic powers who want to control and commodify every piece of knowledge it transmits. And there are those, thank goodness, who see it for what it is, an opportunity, a chance to grow up as a species, an invitation to join something greater than ourselves. The debate rages on in government chambers, in scientific conferences, in living rooms around the world. And all the while, 3IATLAS continues its journey through our solar system, continues to open, continues to transmit. We estimate it will reach its closest approach to Earth in approximately 90 days, and we have no idea what happens then. Will it continue past us and disappear back into the cosmic dark? Will it remain in our system, a permanent fixture in our sky, a constant reminder of the larger universe we're part of? Will something emerge from within that ring structure, a probe, an ambassador, a judgment? We don't know. And that uncertainty is perhaps the most human experience of all. standing on the edge of the unknown, peering into the darkness, wondering what comes next. I've spent my life trying to understand the universe through mathematics and physics, through theories and equations that describe reality with cold precision. But in this moment, I find myself drawn to questions that can't be answered with calculations. What does it mean to be human in a cosmos filled with intelligence? What is our purpose in a universe that's been watching us all along? Are we ready to let go of our petty differences and see ourselves as one species, one world, one voice in a galactic chorus? These aren't questions for physicists alone. These are questions for poets and philosophers, for artists and dreamers, for every person who has ever looked up at the night sky and wondered. The signal from 3IATLAS is now being received by radio telescopes around the world. Amateur enthusiasts with the right equipment can tune in and listen. It sounds like music, rhythmic, patterned, beautiful in its mathematical precision. People are gathering in groups, sitting under the stars, listening to the signal together. There's something profound happening at the grassroots level, something the governments and institutions are missing in their race to control and analyze. Humanity is connecting with something cosmic. Children are drawing pictures of what they imagine 3IATLAS looks like. Students are forming study groups to learn the physics necessary to understand the transmissions. Communities are coming together to discuss what this means for our future. This is what gives me hope. Not the machinations of power, not the military strategies or corporate interests, but ordinary people looking up with wonder, asking questions, reaching out to each other to process this momentous revelation, because ultimately that's what 3IATLAS is testing. Not our technology, not our weapons, not our economic systems, our humanity. Can we remain curious in the face of the unknown? Can we stay compassionate when confronted with intelligence beyond our own? Can we work together when the stakes are this high? These are the questions that matter. The ring continues to rotate, perfect and eternal. The signals continue to pour forth, revelation after revelation. And we continue to watch, to listen, to learn. Or will we become just another silent world in the archives of 3IATLAS, another civilization that couldn't pass the test, another cautionary tale transmitted to the next world that reaches this same critical threshold? The answer depends on what we do right now in this moment with this knowledge. So I ask you, what do you see when you look up at the stars tonight? What do you feel knowing we're not alone? And what kind of world do you want to build with this cosmic truth? Comment below. Share your thoughts, because the conversation happening in the comments of videos like this in living rooms and classrooms around the world, that's the real signal we're sending back. And somewhere, someone might be listening.